Hey guys, it's Mandy. Welcome to my channel. This video is going to be a little bit different than my normal videos. It's not real estate related, moving more towards finance and specifically college. Whether or not you go to college is going to be one of the biggest financial decisions you'll make, and most people have to make it at a pretty young age. I think it warrants a lot of thought, and I think I have some valuable opinions to share with you guys. It's definitely not a decision that you should just let your parents make for you or society, and especially not some random person on YouTube, but you need to sit down and make the decision for yourself, weigh the pros and weigh the cons, and decide what's best specifically for you. But here's some things you need to think about when you're trying to make that decision. So number one, could you accomplish your goals better and faster by going to trade school instead of college? And everyone says that. I know they do. I know you expected me to say that in this video because everyone says it. But no one's doing it. They're all giving the advice, but no one's actually taking their own advice. So why would you listen to us anyway? I mean, I didn't go to trade school. I went to college and I have a 4-year degree. But what I will tell you, and this is really the only experience I have with it, so I'm not an expert. I went to college for 4 years. And I graduated with a chemical engineering degree. So a pretty good degree, pretty high paying job. I started working immediately after graduating and I was making $86,000 a year. That was just my base salary. The benefits were also very good on top of that. And I was making about $42 an hour. My electrician and my plumber that I use for my rental properties, the plumber charges a $60 service call. So literally he walks through the door and I owe him $60. From there, he also charges $60 an hour plus whatever materials. If he has another person working with him, they also get paid $60 an hour. And at some point he takes a service call off if the bill goes over so high or if he's there for so many hours. The electrician, he makes $65 an hour. So neither of them have 4-year degrees, and they were both making more money than I was making as an engineer. So it's definitely something to consider, definitely a great alternative to college. There are other jobs out there and career paths out there, cosmetology school, being a real estate agent. Those are other alternatives to college that you can also make really good money. So if your goal is just to go to college to have a better, higher paying job when you're finished, then maybe consider other alternatives. Number two, if you're set on going to college, what are you going to major in? What degree are you going to get? And I see people, just from going to college myself and from listening to why people chose the degree that they chose, a lot of people say, well, they picked biology because they're interested in science, or they picked history because they love history. And even I heard a lot of people say they picked engineering because they liked math and science. I think that's a start for picking a degree, but it's a horrible reason to completely base your degree choice just off your interest. I have tons of hobbies and tons of interest, but they don't lean well towards a high-paying career. And it's not all about money, but if you are going to spend a lot of money going to college, you want to get a return on that investment. So, for example, say you major in biology. What are you going to do with that degree after you graduate? There's just not a ton of jobs for biology majors, and most of them are going to be not degree specific, and jobs that don't require a specific degree usually aren't going to give you a good return on your money. Now, that's not to say everyone who gets a biology degree won't get a great job. Maybe you want to be a biologist. You do need to consider that you're going to have to go to school for longer. You're going to have to get your PhD so that you can do research at a university level and be a university professor. If that's what you really want to do, that's great. But make sure you have a plan, and I would also suggest having a backup plan. What if you decide you don't want to do whatever it is, and what if it just doesn't work out? What if you don't get a job? What's your backup plan? Some degrees that I think are good are Of course, engineering, you can get a job easily right out of college. Accounting, finance, basically anything business related, nursing, any type of degree that is usable and you can get a job after you graduate. Number 3, you need to consider how you're going to pay for college and how you can minimize the debt that you're going to go into. For me, I actually finished college with no debt. I was lucky enough to get scholarships to cover my tuition, and then I worked my butt off to cover my living expenses while I was in college. I wouldn't even say that I was lucky. I worked really hard during high school to make good grades, and I worked really hard to do good on my ACT. Your ACT score or your SAT score, depending on where you are in the United States, those are going to be like really big factors in how much scholarship you get to go to college. And anything you're eligible for scholarship-wise, you need to apply. That's more or less free money. That's less debt that you have to go into to get your degree. And as far as like working during college, I would work 2 jobs during the summers, and I would save everything I could save, and I would use that money to pay for my living expenses during the school year. And then I also worked part-time during the school year just for extra, not really extra, I mean, I basically used everything I made, but just to help cover my rent, to help cover my groceries. And doing that, I was able to graduate with no debt. I actually didn't even have a credit card. In addition to scholarships and jobs, I would also think about just spending less money. I chose not to be in a sorority during college because it's very expensive, and I didn't go out drinking or eat out because it's expensive, and I just didn't have very much money. I lived like a poor, broke college student. And I mean, really, what other way is there to do college? And last, number 4, you need to be, from your very first semester, from your freshman year, you need to be making sure you graduate college in 4 years if you're doing a 4-year degree path. Now, there are some majors, I think architect is usually a 5-year degree, but if you're in a 4-year degree, make it 4 years. I saw my friends stretch out college to 6 years, even 7 years, and that's crazy. That's so much more debt, so much more time that you're not working a full-time job. Now, I know everyone's different, and there may be some non-traditional students that have to do college more slowly and more spread out because you are working a full-time job and doing college on the side. That's fine. I'm talking about traditional students who start college right after high school. They're 100% full-time student, and they're going to college for 6-7 years. That's ridiculous. You can do it in 4 years. It's a 4-year degree. If everyone else can do it, so can you. If I can do it, so can you. I'm really not that smart. I just worked really hard during college. That means as a freshman, you need to already have all of your semesters planned out. You need to know which classes are prereqs for other classes. You need to make sure you pass your classes. Do whatever it takes. Maybe you need to get extra help after class, or go to the TA, or just make study groups with people. Or possibly you're not too good in study groups and all you do is talk, so you need to learn to study independently. Do whatever it takes to get your classes passed and to graduate in 4 years. You're just gonna save a lot more money that way, and there's no reason you should be going to college for longer than whatever your specified degree requires. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I know these opinions are just my own, and you don't have to listen to them if you don't want to. Thank you all for watching. Bye.